All right, everybody, welcome to another lesson through video. Today we're going to be talking about area, and it's the first of two videos that I want you to watch this weekend because we're going to be working on a project coming up, and you're going to need to remember about area and the topic on the next video, which is going to be volume. So here we go. You've probably seen all of these shapes before, and you might have even seen all of these formulas before. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go over them briefly so that you have a little chance to remember how to do them. Starting with squares and rectangles. The difference between squares and rectangles is that squares, all of the sides are the same length, and in rectangles, two of the sides have the same length as each other. You have two sets of two equal sides. So for a square and a rectangle, the formula is the same. The area is going to be the base times the height. A square, since all the sides are the same length, if one side is 5, all the other sides are also going to be 5, which means that your base and your height are both going to be the same number. So in this case, we get 5 times 5, which gives us 25. In a rectangle, your base and your height are oftentimes going to be different numbers. In this case, we have a 10 and we have a 4. So when we use base times height in this case, we're going to have 4 times 10 and 4 times 10. 40. So that's squares and rectangles. Remember, you can pause anytime you want to if you need to take notes. So feel free to pause the video and rewind. Moving on to triangles. Triangles are basically half of a rectangle. As you can see, I'm drawing on this, and I'm completing a rectangle sort of by doing that. And the triangle is half of that area. So it should make some sense that the equation for the area of a triangle is going to be 1/2 of the area equation for a square or a rectangle. So if we have 1/2 base times height for this one, what we're going to have is 1/2 7 times 5, which is 1/2 of 35, which is 17.5. And you can use your calculator if you need to figure that out. Now, one thing that's true about the base and the height is that they always have a right angle between them. So even if you were told that this had a length of 7 up here, you wouldn't want to use that as the height of this other triangle because it's not perpendicular to the base. This 8 is perpendicular to the base. So that's the one that we're going to want to use for the height. So we're going to have 1/2 8 times 4, which is 1/2 of 32, which ends up being 60. So let's triangles really quickly. Last one we have is circles. And the key to area with circles is you're going to need to know about two things. One of those things is pi. And oftentimes on calculators, there's a button for you to use pi with. It's about equal to 3.14. So that's what pi is. The other thing you need to know in the area formula is what this r stands for. And it stands for radius. And that's the distance from the center of the circle to anywhere on the edge of it in a straight line. So let's say that the radius had a length of 4. What that would mean is that our area would be pi times 4 squared, which means that it would be pi times 16. And if you use a calculator, as I said, calculators often have buttons for pi. You just type it in. So what you'll have is 16 times, then you hit enter. And we're going to round to 2 decimal places. The calculator says 50.265, so we're going to change that to 50.27. So that's one example of a circle. And what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to leave this next example for you to do, and I want you to bring it into class on Monday. So the example that I'm going to give you, still going to use the same formula because it's still a circle, but what I want you to do is find the area of a circle that has a radius of 7. So that's going to be one problem that you have to do for Monday. And please also watch the next video, which is Introduction to Value. That one's going to have the problem for you to solve at the end. So you'll probably be hearing my voice really, really soon. Make sure you listen to both. See you in class.